Introduction. In the land of Westeros, a foreign soul is reborn without a system, without exceptional skills, and without a class change. How will he navigate this chaotic world? And what kind of epic tale of ice and fire will he weave amidst the Game of Thrones? Chapter 1. Poisoned immediately upon rebirth? In the year 300 of the Aegon calendar, King Joffrey hosts a grand wedding feast in King's Landing, creating a lively atmosphere. At that moment, an invisible soul unexpectedly penetrates Joffrey's body. He finds himself unable to control Joffrey's actions, trapped within this corporeal vessel, merely able to observe his surroundings in silence. Have I, Lu Yun, truly been reborn? Wasn't I promised a reincarnation as a monarch? Where have I ended up? Just then, a dwarf with half a nose missing reluctantly approaches, offering a cup of wine. For reasons unknown, Lu Yun could discern that this cup contains poison. As Joffrey is about to drink, Lu Yun urgently exclaims, "Don't drink. It's poisoned." Astonishingly, Joffrey hesitates for a moment before bringing the poisoned wine to his lips. Lu Yun cannot contain his outrage, cursing, "What a treacherous afterlife. I am granted rebirth as a monarch, and in mere seconds, I am doomed? Who are you?" A sudden, unfamiliar voice emanates from behind him. Lu Yun turns to see a youth brandishing an ornate crossbow emerging from the dim light. "I am Lu Yun, and you are? Peasant. How dare you seek to know the name of your king?" The youth, filled with disdain, draws his bow, aiming to shoot Lu Yun. However, for reasons unknown, the youth begins to tremble violently, and soon dissipates. Instinctively, Lu Yun raises his hand to shield himself, and as he lowers it, he finds he has taken control of this body, able to see, hear, and experience everything around him. Suddenly, a wave of excruciating pain courses through his body, and he begins to foam at the mouth, nearing death. Realizing this is the consequence of the poison wine, Lu Yun struggles for survival, abruptly sitting up and thrusting a hand into the back of his throat, followed by a violent retch. In a feeble whisper, he mutters, "I must live." Then, he loses consciousness, plunging into darkness. Time passes, and in that void, he glimpses his past life. It was a time of turmoil, where human life was as insignificant as grass. His family, though not exceptionally powerful, enjoyed a degree of wealth. Yet, foreign invaders obliterated it all. These invaders, though appearing human, were beasts in disguise, devouring their victims without remorse. In a lifetime of displacement and suffering, captured and tortured by these foreigners, he vowed that if he were to be reborn, he would become a king, not for personal glory, but to build a mighty nation, ensuring he would never again be a slave to foreign powers. Fortunately, upon entering the afterlife, the being responsible for reincarnation reviewed his past and deemed it adequate. Though insufficient for a royal rebirth at best, he could be reborn into a noble family. Yet, Lu Yun remained steadfast in his resolve, insisting he must be reborn as a king. The being responsible for reincarnation, recognizing the relative fortune of his past life, granted him a singular opportunity. "We acknowledge your past blessings and will fulfill your desire, but it comes at the cost of erasing all your fortunes. Do you consent?" Lu Yun promptly replied, "I consent." "Very well, proceed." With that, the reincarnation entity waved a hand, and a wave of excruciating pain surged through him. Suddenly, Lu Yun awoke with a start. Upon regaining consciousness, he found himself surrounded by a circle of people, the first of whom was a blonde-haired, blue-eyed noblewoman who rushed forward, weeping as she exclaimed, "My son, you have finally awakened." Despite enduring abdominal pain, Lu Yun, bewildered, inquired, "Who are you?" The noblewoman furrowed her brow and quickly turned to a strikingly handsome man, who appeared equally bewildered. At that moment, a man who introduced himself as a grand scholar stepped forward and said, "Do not worry, Your Majesty. Surviving such a potent poison is a miracle, a testament to the divine protection over you." "Grand Scholar Pasher, please get to the point." "Yes, Your Majesty. From my observations, it appears that His Majesty is temporarily afflicted with amnesia. With proper care and the removal of residual toxins, he will surely recover completely." "Ah, so this noblewoman is the Empress, my mother," Lu Yun pondered. "Amnesia, my poor son." With that, the Empress tearfully embraced her son, fearing the loss once more. Though Lu Yun felt a sense of unfamiliarity towards this mother, it evoked memories of a harmonious family scene from his past life, prompting a solitary tear to trace down his cheek. Seeing her son weep, the Empress, heartbroken, hurriedly wiped his tears away and expressed her concern, My son, it is all my fault for not protecting you. From now on, I shall ensure that all your food is tasted by trusted confidants before it reaches you." Then, with a fierce expression, she declared, "And that wretched Tyrion shall face execution. No, he shall be utterly dismembered." At that moment, Lu Yun recalled the dwarf who had served him the poison wine. "That man is named Tyrion?" "Indeed, he is your uncle, Tyrion Lannister," the strikingly handsome man beside him interjected. The Empress, however, glared at the man. "Jaime, you may leave." The man named Jaime, looking resigned, scratched his head with his left hand and exited the room. The others discreetly followed suit, leaving the two alone. "That man is my uncle? Why did he offer me poison wine?" Lu Yun pondered, perplexed. Was the royal palace truly so treacherous that even kin sought to harm him? The Empress forced a smile. "My son, do not concern yourself with him. He is a despicable fiend." Lu Yun, still skeptical, wondered how such a man could be her brother, yet be deemed a demon in her eyes. The relationship seemed rather intricate. In his judgment, it was imperative to meet this so-called uncle. Perhaps he could illuminate the tangled web of events, for remaining in such perilous circumstances was untenable. Now, this body is indeed my own, yet the lingering poison has yet to be purged. I cannot afford any further mishaps. "Cough, mother, Empress, I wish to see him," Lu Yun called out to his mother. No matter how he addressed her, it felt somewhat awkward, however, since he had been reincarnated into this body. She was indeed his mother now. Perhaps with repeated calls, he would eventually grow accustomed to it. "He? Who?" The Empress regarded him with a hint of surprise. "Uncle, Tyrion." "Absolutely not. What do you wish to see him for? Did you not despise him the most? Besides, you're in such a fragile state." The Empress flatly refused. "I wish to inquire who has been manipulating him." "It is impossible for anyone to manipulate him. He acted on his own volition. What more is there to ask? Just have him executed." Lu Yun chose not to engage in a debate with her, suddenly coughing violently, then gazing at her with a pleading expression. The Empress felt a pang of sorrow. "Very well. Only this once. I shall have him brought here." Before long, Tyrion was escorted in by several knights clad in shining silver armor, who forcefully made him kneel upon the ground. Upon lifting his head, Tyrion regarded Lu Yun with a concerned expression. "Joffrey, no. My king. Are you all right?" "Bah, you vile wretch. How dare you speak? I truly wish to slay you right here and feed your flesh to the dogs." The Empress's face turned an ashen hue with rage. Tyrion clearly had no intention of responding to her. He merely wore an indifferent demeanor and looked away. Lu Yun observed his uncle, who was ugly in appearance and diminutive in stature, and while he certainly deserved the title of a demon, the adage warns against judging a book by its cover. Moreover, that earlier expression of concern did not seem feigned. "Kill him." The Empress, fueled by resentment, directly commanded the knights to execute Tyrion. One knight unsheathed his sword, hesitating only a moment before Tyrion's head would roll. "Who dares?" Lu Yun's voice, though not loud, carried a remarkable intensity, causing the knights to hesitate, their eyes wide with trepidation as they looked to the Empress. The Empress found it difficult to oppose, merely turning her head away, yet her anger remained unabated. However, what transpired next left her utterly astonished. "Mother, you may all leave. I wish to speak with him privately." Chapter 2. A Web of Doubts. The Empress looked at him in disbelief. "My son, you wish to be alone with him? How is that possible? He is the one who sought to kill you, and you are in such a weakened state." "Indeed, sister, what the Empress says is correct, keeping me here. Have you lost your mind to the poison?" Tyrion remarked with a mocking expression. Lu Yun simply smiled. "Mother, do not worry, he is shackled and cannot harm me." The Empress cast a concerned glance at her son, knowing his temperament, and realizing that his frail state could not withstand further agitation. She reluctantly acquiesced. "My son, I shall remain just outside. Should he dare to overstep, call for me." Lu Yun nodded. The Empress clenched her fists tightly, and once she had exited with the knights, the room was left with only Lu Yun and his so-called uncle. "I have called everyone out, uncle. You need not kneel any longer. Please stand and speak." Tyrion found it hard to believe, suspecting that his foolish and deranged nephew was up to some cunning trick. He could not afford to be deceived and knelt, stating, "I am a guilty man and shall bear my punishment in this position." "How did your nose come to be injured?" Lu Yun began with a courteous inquiry. Tyrion reacted swiftly, pondering whether his nephew's mind had been poisoned, leaving him in a state of amnesia. "I fell by my own accord." Unable to suppress a laugh, Lu Yun replied, "Did a fall truly cause such damage to your nose?" "Uncle, where did this happen?" Tyrion, taken aback by the incessant address of uncle, jested, I fell upon the iron throne. You know that seat is adorned with sharp blades. Thankfully, I did not fall elsewhere, where the consequences would have been dire. Then, uncle, you must tread carefully henceforth. The more Tyrion listened, the more he sensed an oddity. It seemed the king before him had transformed into a different person. Could it be that he truly had lost his memory? Previously, when he had called him uncle, it had not been in mockery, but rather in preparation for some playful torment. Your Majesty, do you know of Jaime Lannister? Tyrion inquired suddenly. Jaime Lannister? Who is he? Sansa Stark? Cersei Lannister? Tywin Lannister? Robb Baratheon? You do not recognize him? With each question, Luyen shook his head in denial. What of Joffrey Baratheon? Luyen shook his head once more. Tyrion wore a bemused expression. Oh. He exhaled deeply. I truly do not know whether this is a blessing or a curse. Are you implying that I should not recall your serving me the poison wine? Luyen abruptly shifted the conversation. They must have told you, Tyrion responded. Not all I know. Tyrion's expression changed, pondering if the lad was attempting to deceive him. You had not lost your memory. I may be uncertain about other matters, but I distinctly remember this one, Luyen affirmed, having witnessed it firsthand. Tyrion, slightly exasperated, raised his head and chuckled. Do you believe me when I say that I did not administer the poison? Luyen retorted. Then why was it you who served that cup of poison wine? At this query, Tyrion found himself at a loss, unsure how to respond. Should he claim that it was his insistence that led him to present the drink? Raising his hands in surrender, he stated, If you must insist on it, I concede that I serve you that cup, but I assure you, I did not poison it. Luyen pressed further. Uncle, allow me to ask you one more thing. How did I treat you in the past? Tyrion rubbed his face with both hands and sighed, terribly. At that moment, Luyen scrutinized the dwarf before him. Piecing together the puzzle in his mind, it was evident that someone was orchestrating my demise through him. After all, this dwarf did not appear to be a fool, and judging by the genuine concern he exhibited upon entering, it was clear that he had treated him poorly in the past, yet still harbored care for him. How could he, then, have poisoned him so brazenly before the eyes of many? Thus, Luyen inquired, Uncle, was that cup of poisoned wine truly yours? Tyrion momentarily lost his train of thought, stammering, Is it? However, the chaos of that day rendered him unable to recall from whence the wine had been served. He forcefully slapped his forehead. I truly cannot remember. It matters not, uncle. If you cannot recall, there are others who do, came the reply. A sudden clarity dawned upon Tyrion, how perplexing it was to be so enshrouded in confusion. With so many witnesses present, surely someone had seen. Yet why could he not recollect? It was indeed strange. Yet, what significance lay in knowing the source of the wine? Did it imply that wine served from his father's hand was laced with poison? Uncle, you may leave for now. If you are innocent, I shall restore your honor. At that moment, Tyrion was at a loss for words. He felt an unexpected warmth from his wretched kin, as if enveloped in a caring embrace. Could this truly be reality? Rising, he approached the door, turning back to ask, Are you truly? What is it? Nothing, Tyrion replied, stifling the tears that threatened to spill, forcing a smile as he pushed the door open. At that moment, the Queen Mother hurriedly entered, her voice laced with concern. My son, are you unharmed? Did he cause you any injury? Luyen gently pushed her away. I am fine, Mother. I wish to be alone for a while. Very well. I shall leave you to your peace. I will send someone to attend to you shortly. As the Queen Mother approached the door, Luyen called out, By the way, Mother, what is my name? Tears glistened in her eyes as she replied, My son, you are Joffrey Baratheon, the king of the 7 kingdoms. Luyen shook his head. No, from this day forth, I shall be known as Luyen. Luyen? Very well, if my son favors this name, then let it be so. From this day onward, you shall be called Luyen. With that, she exited, colliding with Jaime, who had been waiting outside. Jaime, feeling somewhat awkward, inquired, May I go in to see him now? You know he does not like you. Why provoke him further? He needs rest. The Queen Mother flatly refused. Jaime retorted, Cersei. Then, casting a wary glance around, he quietly added, He is still my son. I worry for him as well. The Queen Mother sighed, closing her eyes in relief. Very well, you may go, but do not say I did not warn you. Regardless, he cannot recall the past now. I have matters to attend to, so I must take my leave. Where are you going? Jaime asked anxiously. Why the urgency? I'll warn you, Jaime, do not think of defending that little monster. He seeks to kill our son. My patience is not boundless. Jaime stood in speechless disbelief, unsure of how to respond. The Queen Mother, unwilling to endure his presence any longer, turned to leave. After taking a few steps, she added, Oh, and Jaime, He shall no longer be known as Joffrey. He will be called Lu Yun Baratheon. Jaime was taken aback. What? Where are you going? Where else but to have someone change his name? Jaime watched her hurried form depart, a resigned smile creeping onto his face. Then, he approached the interior of the house. I have met you, my king. Lu Yun looked up and recognized the strikingly handsome man. I know you are Jianmu. For reasons unknown, Lu Yun felt an inexplicable sense of familiarity upon seeing him. Chapter 3. The First Encounter with the Lion, an Unassailable Presence. Jaime appeared somewhat pained, yet such an expression seemed unbefitting of him, for he was merely a royal guard. Indeed, I am Jaime Lannister, the royal guard and your uncle, your majesty. I firmly believe that you shall recover. Lu Yun, observing yet another uncle, understood the source of his concerned demeanor. Uncle Jaime, you previously mentioned Uncle Tyrion. Mother harbors such disdain for him. Why do you speak of him without a trace of animosity? I simply cannot believe he would poison you, your majesty. Although Jaime spoke with certainty, the uncertainty in his eyes betrayed him. How can you be so sure? I know him. He is not inherently malevolent, Jaime asserted, his conviction seeming unusually resolute. You were present the day he offered me the poison wine, were you not? Yes, I was. Jaime's demeanor shifted to one of panic and guilt, for ultimately, he bore some responsibility for the king's safety. Uncle need not be anxious. I do not intend to place blame upon you. Do you recall the details of that day when Uncle Tyrion presented the poison wine? Jaime regarded him with curiosity, his expression shifting as he recounted the events in detail. Upon hearing this, Lu Yun nodded. Ah, it was during my wedding feast. Very well, Uncle Jaime, I understand. I must trouble you to remain vigilant regarding my safety, especially since I am currently incapacitated. Suddenly, Jaime knelt on one knee, as if swearing an oath, declaring, Your Majesty, to protect you, I would willingly face 1,000 deaths. Uncle, I wish to rest now, Lu Yun stated as Jaime took his leave. However, scarcely had he departed when a young, beautiful noblewoman hastily entered. Instantly, her eyes brimmed with tears as she began to weep. My dear king, it is such a relief to see you unharmed. Truly, the gods have bestowed their protection upon you. Lu Yun, bewildered, inquired, Who are you? This question only intensified the noblewoman's sobbing. Her body trembled with emotion. Your Majesty, I am your queen, Marjorie Tyrell. Do you not even remember me? She leaned against the pillow, crying pitifully, appearing utterly forlorn. This sight stirred Lu Yun's compassion. Just as he was about to comfort her, he reconsidered and halted his hand. However, the queen suddenly threw herself into his embrace, weeping even more profusely. Lu Yun, glancing down, found himself overwhelmed by the display and quickly pushed her away. Queen, I am still unwell. Realizing her misstep, the queen promptly composed herself, standing to the side and wiping her tears. Your Majesty, I must confess, I cannot recall the events that preceded this moment. I understand you must be terrified, given how close the wedding turned to tragedy. The queen's sobs quieted, reducing to soft whimpers. Very well, please return to rest. In a few days, once I have recovered, I shall visit you. Your Majesty, Lu Yun raised a hand, signaling her to refrain from speaking. Please, step outside for now. Though the queen felt a twinge of reluctance, she nonetheless stepped outside. Lu Yun observed her figure, a wary glint emerging in his eyes. According to Uncle James's account, the poison wine had been placed on their table that day, poured from the Queen Mother's cup. If Tyrion was not the poisoner, the implications were clear. Yet, he could not ascertain why this woman, soon to be queen after marrying the king, would wish to poison her royal husband. After much contemplation, Lu Yun found himself unable to reach a satisfactory conclusion. At that moment, a figure resembling a majestic lion strode into the room, bowing respectfully before the king. Your Majesty, I have sent for the finest antidotes and healing remedies, which have already been delivered to the maester's residence. Thank you, but are you not? Lu Yun inquired, sensing the man's formidable presence. This lion, he declared, is none other than Tywin Lannister, the hand of the king, responsible for managing all affairs of state. You are also a Lannister? Lu Yun responded, intrigued. Indeed, the Queen Mother is my daughter, making you my grandson, Tywin replied. Upon hearing this, Lu Yun immediately bowed. Grandfather. Tywin appeared slightly taken aback by the unexpected gesture, hastily moving to assist him. There is no need for a king to bow to a subject. Naturally, a king does not bow to a subject. However, what I just performed was a gesture of respect from a junior to his elder, unrelated to our ranks. Lu Yun articulated steadily. Tywin's expression shifted to one of mixed appreciation and complexity. Your Majesty, I have heard you wish to change your name. Indeed, grandfather, you are aware? Tywin nodded. Your name, Lu Yun, is somewhat unconventional, yet if it is your wish, changing it poses no issue. Grandfather, Lu Yun's demeanor turned serious. Do you believe that Uncle Tyrion would truly poison me? Tywin regarded his nephew with incredulity. Do you not suspect him? Grandfather, I am asking you, Lu Yun reiterated. My oversight, your majesty. Worry not, I shall ensure he receives a fair trial. You may focus on your recovery, but he is your own son. Should you not investigate thoroughly before passing judgment? A direct trial? Lu Yun queried, perplexed. Under the watchful eyes of the public, he cannot evade responsibility. Should he not be tried, it may sow discontent among the people, Tywin explained. Lu Yun found himself at a loss for a counterargument and decided to set the matter aside. Grandfather, could you share with me the tales of the kingdom? I regret, your majesty, but I am not particularly skilled in storytelling. If you wish to hear a tale, I can summon the Grand Maester. He would undoubtedly provide a more captivating narrative than I could. Lu Yun's expression fell slightly. Yet Tywin, feeling a stirring within, said, though I lack the talent for storytelling, I can certainly share insights into the current circumstances. Lu Yun's interest piqued immediately. Oh, please, do tell. Tywin, akin to a storyteller weaving a bedtime tale, meticulously elaborated on the current dynamics of the powerful families to Lu Yun. Engrossed in the narrative, Lu Yun remarked, Queen Marjorie belongs to House Tyrell. Having defected to our side, how can we genuinely place our trust in such a fickle lineage? This incisive observation elicited a hearty laugh from Tywin, who replied, Your Majesty, you are overly concerned. Their family merely seeks a favorable position within the dynasty. They are not lacking in wealth. As long as they are offered a respectable title, why would they not serve the crown? It is merely the allure of power. Who among the populace is not swayed by fame and fortune? Lu Yun nodded appreciatively. Expressing gratitude to his grandfather for the enlightening story, Tywin courteously returned the gesture, stating, I shall not disturb your majesty's rest any further. I take my leave. Grandfather. Walk slowly, Lu Yun replied. Chapter 4. The Royal Council Meeting. Astonishing Developments. 1 week later, Lu Yun had nearly purged the remnants of the poison, his health restored. The very fact that he survived such a potent toxin was deemed miraculous by the citizens of King's Landing, who spoke of it in awe, even suggesting that the king was an incarnation of the gods. On this day, Tywin convened a council meeting with numerous ministers. Suddenly, Lu Yun made his entrance. After exchanging the customary courtesies, Tywin graciously offered his seat to Lu Yun, who, of course, could not decline at that moment. This spectacle left the assembly in stunned silence, including his mother, Queen Cersei, who could scarcely believe her eyes, pondering if she were in a dream. At that moment, they were deliberating the appropriate punishment for Tyrion, accused of attempting to murder the king, and continued their discussions. Amidst the fervent debates, only one corpulent, bald minister sat in silence. Once the discussions concluded, Tywin relayed the outcomes to Lu Yun for his judgment. Yet, Lu Yun did not rush to respond. Instead, he fixated on the silent, bald minister, prompting the others to turn their gazes toward him as well. This scrutiny rendered the bald minister quite uncomfortable, and he suddenly recalled something, hastily rising to declare, Your Majesty, I am the Master of Whisperers, Varys. The other ministers, witnessing this, promptly introduced themselves, with the exception of Tywin and Cersei. Lord Varys, Lu Yun called out. Varys quickly nodded and bowed. I noticed your silence earlier. Do you not wish to share your perspective? Lu Yun inquired directly. Esteemed Majesty, Varys replied. I was merely contemplating a question. Being your uncle, what motive could he possibly have to poison your wine? Grand Maester Pycelle immediately retorted, What motive? Clearly, he harbors resentment towards the king. Without hesitation, Varys countered. Then may I ask, Lord Pycelle, what exactly does he resent about the king? Pycelle scoffed. It is well known that the Tyrells have long been at odds with the king, having repeatedly defied him. By rights, he deserves punishment. As for me, Wang Renzi, I shall not hold it against him. He, however, not only disregards our shared sentiments, but also escalates his malice. On the day of the wedding feast, I merely uttered a few words to him, yet he bore a grudge and poisoned the wine offered to me. This reveals the wickedness of his heart. Such words seemed to resonate with Empress Cersei, as a hint of a smile graced her face. Lord Pycelle, when have you ever seen Tyrion poison anyone? I asked. On that day, when everyone was present, who witnessed Tyrion administering poison into the wine. Pycelle found himself momentarily speechless. Tywin interjected, though no one saw him poison the wine. It was indeed he who handed the poisoned cup, and that wine was drawn from our own table. We all drank it without harm, and the bottle was later examined, revealing no poison. Surely, it cannot be that only the king would succumb to its effects. Varys opened his mouth to respond, but swallowed his words. Pycelle seized the opportunity. Pressing on, Lord Varys, we are all aware of your close ties with Tyrion, yet facts remain facts. You must discern right from wrong. Varys, undeterred, countered. I merely stated my doubts. This has no bearing on our friendship. Lu Yun surveyed the assembled ministers, and upon meeting Tywin's gaze, he seemed to sense something. Esteemed ministers. Mother, I know that in recent days, you have all been busily occupied with the matter of my poisoning. You must be quite weary. The ministers quickly smiled and waved their hands, insisting they were not fatigued. Lord Pycelle, perhaps anticipating a reward, responded, at your service. A few days ago, I was deeply moved by the tales of past dynasties that you shared, and I found them profoundly enlightening. It is my honor. Today, I declare a general amnesty. The assembly was taken aback. Only Tywin remained composed, remarking, our king is truly benevolent. The others erupted into applause, expressing their admiration. Pycelle, leading the charge, extolled. Our king is indeed the most benevolent ruler in history. To grant a pardon so soon after recovering from illness demonstrates a magnanimity unmatched. Truly, a great emperor. Lu Yun, seizing the moment, added, since the Grand Maester has spoken so highly, let us extend my magnanimity further by pardoning Tyrion as well. Pycelle froze on the spot, and Cersei appeared momentarily flustered, as the atmosphere in the royal council descended into a chill. Unexpectedly, Varys interjected, Your Majesty, Tyrion has committed a grave offense, one of regicide, and thus should not be included in the amnesty. May I present a few points of contention? I seek your answers. First, have you identified the source of the poison? Second, have you discerned his motive for regicide? Third, who witnessed him administering the poison? The ministers stammered, unable to provide responses. Seeing their hesitation, Lu Yun continued. Since Lord Varys has asserted that it is a capital crime, it cannot be immediately pardoned. I shall grant you all a fortnight to investigate the 3 points I have raised. Should you find evidence, Tyrion Lannister shall be executed after this period. Otherwise, he shall be pardoned. How does that sound? At this moment, Cersei's face turned pale, and she looked at her father Tywin with confusion, as if urging him to put an end to the king's capriciousness. However, what Tywin said next left her utterly astonished. Your Majesty, your words are profoundly insightful and exhibit the qualities of a benevolent ruler. I propose that all ministers raise their hands for a vote. After Tywin spoke, he turned his gaze towards Lu Yun. Naturally, Lu Yun understood the king's intent and proceeded to conduct a fair vote. To everyone's surprise, Tywin was the first to dissent. The captain of the Kingsguard voted in favor, the Minister of Justice opposed, the Chief of Intelligence opposed, the Minister of Naval Affairs voted in favor, and the Grand Scholar voted in favor. The Minister of Finance, being absent, was unable to cast a vote. At this point, the tally stood at 3 in favor and 3 against, awaiting the crucial vote from the absent minister. Just then, unexpectedly, Peter hurriedly returned and arrived at the royal meeting. All the ministers turned their attention to the king, assuming he had summoned Peter back early. However, when Peter spoke, it became clear that he had rushed back to see the king and repeatedly confessed his guilt for being late. After Tywin mediated, he was spared punishment and cast the final vote. The Minister of Finance is in favor. Varys sighed in relief. Cersei, however, was extremely furious and hastily found an excuse to leave the royal meeting early. Thus, during the royal assembly, the king's hand proclaimed a grand amnesty for 3 days. Effective immediately, the decision regarding Tyrion Lannister would be made after further investigation in half a month. After the ministers dispersed, only Lu Yun and Tywin remained at the meeting table. Lu Yun spoke first. Grandfather, why did you cast a dissenting vote if you agreed? Tywin smiled. Though I serve as the king's hand, I must also avoid suspicion. Your decision is quite resolute. If I do not act decisively, others may exploit this situation, leaving us vulnerable to manipulation. Grandfather, are you still afraid of such matters? There are always greater forces at play. One cannot afford to lose the people's trust at critical moments. I am curious to know which family instills such trepidation in you. Perhaps once you become the true king, you can alleviate this concern for grandfather, Tywin said with a significant tone. Lu Yun discerned the implication in his words. He was merely a puppet king for now. He smiled wryly but did not respond. After Lu Yun departed, Tywin nodded with a hint of satisfaction, remarking, the young lion is beginning to grow its fangs. Half a month later, Tyrion was granted amnesty and released due to insufficient evidence. However, to demonstrate the family's selflessness, Tywin exiled him for 3 years, stripping him of family protection. Meanwhile, Tywin's mistress, Shae, was thrown into a military camp, subjected to the soldiers' relentless abuse. Tyrion, unable to endure this humiliation, stealthily entered Tywin's chamber that night and shot him in the privy, subsequently vanishing without a trace, along with the chief of intelligence, Varys. Strangely, Even the king disappeared, plunging kings landing into chaos as all searched desperately for their missing monarch. Meanwhile, Queen Cersei began her regency, nurturing a new power led by one who called himself the Sparrows. Chapter 5. The dreadful captive amidst a desolate expanse. A small contingent of soldiers proceeded slowly, escorting a prison cart. Within the cart were 3 captives, among them Lu Yun, each appearing exceedingly frail and enervated. One prisoner, with a faint smile, leaned against the iron bars, having fixed his gaze upon Lu Yun throughout the journey. Unable to contain his curiosity, Lu Yun finally inquired, "What are you staring at?" The man merely continued to smile, offering no reply. Another prisoner, observing their exchange and deeming it a waste of energy, turned his head and resumed his slumber. Although the persistent gaze of the first man was disconcerting, his smile bore an inexplicable charm. As dusk descended, the convoy came to a halt for a respite. A noblewoman, with remarkably fair skin and seemingly youthful, passed by the prison cart. It was then that the man who had been watching Lu Yun weakly called out to her, "Madam." "Esteemed lady." The noblewoman paused, lifting her head slightly, and timidly asked, "What is it that you seek?" "I am famished. I have not eaten for 3 days and nights." "Perhaps you could grant me a friend," he replied. "I require no friends," the noblewoman promptly denied. "Quickly bring us food and wine, or else upon our release." "We shall feast upon you first," shouted the burly man who had been sleeping, suddenly rising and fixing his gaze upon her with a fervor that suggested he wished to pounce at once. "One cannot choose their companions. These 2 have been impolite and have offended the lady. I must beg for forgiveness," the first man explained. The woman hesitated, torn between advancing and retreating. The man regarded her and asked, "Your name is Asha, is it not?" She nodded slightly. "I am honored to be known as Jaqen Hagar, hailing from the trading city of Loreth." "Hey, you timid wretch, hurry and fetch us some beer," the burly man threatened once more. Startled, Asha's legs weakened, almost causing her to collapse. The burly man erupted into laughter, seemingly relishing the terror he instilled. In that moment, Asha suddenly screamed, "Silence, you filthy maggot," and flung a handful of sand in his direction. Yet, the man appeared unfazed, grinning widely as his laughter echoed around them. Jaqen observed the woman's uncharacteristic behavior and remarked, "The lady is clever, yet lacks composure." "Come again," the burly man taunted. Asha retreated, escorted away by a companion. "Are you Jaqen Hagar?" Lu Yun inquired. The man continued to smile, gesturing toward his own form. "The boy does not belong here, yet he is also of this place." This proclamation sent a chill through Lu Yun, prompting him to ask, "What are you saying? I do not understand." "The boy's name is Lu Yun." Lu Yun nodded, affirming, "Indeed, how did you know?" The burly man interjected, "You dreamt it repeatedly throughout the night, shouting, 'My name is Lu Yun.' It's impossible to be unaware." This remark left Lu Yun feeling somewhat embarrassed, as he had forgotten about the matter of sleep talking. Mimicking Jia Kuen's words, Lu Yun pointed at his own body and stated, "You belong here, yet you do not." The boy was quick to learn. Lu Yun felt a sense of pride, thinking to himself, what a pretentious act. What secrets is he hiding? They are all prisoners now, yet he still puts on such airs. Well, not too bad, just average. The boy could indeed be their savior. Lu Yun shrugged his shoulders, rattling the shackles on his wrists. "How can I rescue you when I am shackled just like you?" The man ceased speaking and gradually leaned back, merging into the shadows cast by the moonlight. This scene stirred a peculiar feeling within Lu Yun that he could not quite articulate. After a considerable time, Lu Yun was jolted awake from his slumber by a cacophony of shouts and cries. Were they being attacked? Another burly man bellowed, "Is it humans attacking? Or are the wraiths upon us?" Lu Yun was at a loss for words, but had no time to argue. Who could say if the approaching figures would bring death or salvation? However, in this desolate terrain, the former seemed far more likely. Meanwhile, Jia Kuen remained remarkably calm, saying, "Boy, it is time for you to rescue us, or it may soon be too late." Lu Yun, annoyed that Jia Kuen could still speak so nonchalantly at such a time, retorted, "How? Pray tell, how will you save us? What secrets are you keeping?" Jia Kuen remained silent, merely glancing toward a noblewoman hiding behind a nearby tree. Following his gaze, Lu Yun recognized her as Asha, the woman who had passed by their prison cart earlier. "Are you suggesting I seek her out?" The boy was astute. Lu Yun shook his head in resignation. "What good would that do? It will be effective." Lu Yun called out tentatively, "Asha, come save me." Asha seemed to be jolted as if struck by lightning. Turning her gaze toward him, miraculously, she began to approach, albeit hesitantly. Yet, as she drew near and caught sight of him, she suddenly recoiled in shock. "Joffrey." Upon hearing this, Lu Yun wondered if she recognized the former owner of this body. "Asha, I am not Joffrey. My name is Lu Yun." "Lu Yun? No. You are Joffrey." I would recognize you even in ashes. Asha shouted, nearly in madness. I assure you, I am not Joffrey, and we have never met. How could we possibly be acquainted? Lu Yun felt a surge of anxiety. It appeared that this young woman was an enemy of Joffrey, which could spell disaster for him. Humph, a fine claim of ignorance. Do not think that changing your tone will allow you to escape. Asha persisted relentlessly. At that moment, even the burly man in the prison cart could no longer contain himself. You mad woman. Joffrey is the reigning king. How could he ever be a prisoner? Look at him. He bears no resemblance to that pampered fool. Jia Kuan also stepped in to defuse the situation, saying, Asha, you have indeed mistaken him for someone else. Upon seeing Jia Kuan's gentle smile, Asha regained some of her composure and, gazing at his familiar face, inquired, you truly are not Joffrey? Lu Yun shook his head and insisted, Miss Asha, I truly am not. Furthermore, I do not know you. Asha's intense emotions began to subside gradually. Observing the situation, Jia Kuan quickly interjected, Miss Asha, hurry. Someone merely requires a sharp axe to liberate themselves. Asha remained still, fixated solely on Lu Yun. Growing anxious, Lu Yun urged, those individuals are approaching rapidly. Miss Asha, please, fetch a sharp axe. At that moment, as if compelled by an unseen force, Asha instinctively sought out an axe and eventually located one resting beside a wooden stump, dragging it over and handing it to him. Jia Kuan seized the axe and advised, Miss Asha, run. Just then, Asha's companions arrived and pulled her away. Jia Kuan, demonstrating remarkable skill, swiftly severed the shackles. Subsequently, the trio made a hasty escape. Chapter 6. The four bandits pursue and encircle Lu Yun ran with great speed, continuing until he found himself utterly alone. Only then did he collapse onto the ground, gasping for breath to catch his breath. Before he had barely rested, the sound of galloping hooves reached his ears, prompting him to conceal himself beneath a sand dune. From a distance, he observed four individuals on horseback pursuing two riders ahead. Suddenly, one of the riders was struck by an arrow and tumbled from his mount. The other rider glanced back momentarily, but continued to gallop furiously. However, not far into his flight, the horse abruptly halted, rearing up as if startled by something. The rider was thrown heavily to the ground. The four pursuers swiftly surrounded him, taunting and jeering. Lu Yun sighed. It's over. There's no hope now. The man, driven by a strong desire to survive, seized the opportunity to break free from the encirclement and began to cry out, Ah, don't come near me. Stay away. Yet the four assailants showed no urgency to capture him, instead persistently harassing and mocking him from all sides. The man continued to flee, but by unfortunate coincidence, his escape route led directly toward Lu Yun. Lu Yun, now in a state of panic, thought, Heaven help me, please do not come this way. To make matters worse, the man unexpectedly spotted Lu Yun hiding and cried out for help. Save me, save me. Simultaneously, the four pursuers also noticed Lu Yun's concealed presence. Resolutely, Lu Yun chose not to hide any longer and angrily shouted at the fleeing individual, do you intend to drag someone down with you even in death? To his dismay, Lu Yun then realized that the person was none other than Asha, the very girl who had rescued him moments ago. Asha, Jeffrey, save me. She exclaimed in terror. I have told you, I am not Jeffrey. Asha, now resembling a frightened little bird, darted behind Lu Yun, trembling violently and repeatedly murmuring, Jeffrey, save me. For heaven's sake, I truly am not Jeffrey. What a futile escape this has been. Lu Yun was exasperated. Jeffrey? Huh, that foolish, still-weaning prince. The encroaching four bandits burst into laughter at this remark. Do not even mention him. Even his usurper uncle's arrival would be of no use. What a regicide. Perhaps we should call him the one-armed man instead. Ha ha ha. The four men grew increasingly animated in their banter. Observing their merriment, Lu Yun seized the opportunity to interject. Esteemed brothers, you appear to be gallant heroes of the Green Forest. It is unfortunate that I am but a destitute wanderer, lacking even a penny. Might I implore you to spare my life? The laughter of the four abruptly ceased. Humph, do you take us for philanthropists? Spare us your drivel. Hand over your riches, or forfeit your miserable life. Otherwise, big brother, he dares to insult our profession. Why waste words? Let us simply slay him. A lean bandit shouted. Very well, I leave him to you, the leader conceded. The lean bandit wasted no time in placing his sword against Lu Yun's shoulder, yet hesitated to strike. What are you waiting for, fourth brother? The leader demanded. Big brother, we have only recently joined the gang and have never killed anyone, the fourth replied. You fool, watch me and learn. The leader brandished his sword dramatically, yet each time it approached Lu Yun's neck, it inexplicably halted. This left Lu Yun bewildered, having never encountered such timid bandits. Second brother, it's your turn. The leader finally dropped the pretense and handed the task over. The second bandit, maintaining a serious demeanor, replied, "Big brother, I believe we joined this gang merely to make a living. There's no need to engage in mindless violence like other bandits." The fourth chimed in, "Indeed, big brother, might we not incur retribution for our misdeeds?" The leader, exasperated, slapped him, saying, "What nonsense. Do you aspire to become a scholar? You're worthless." Third brother, "It's your turn." "Big brother, as you know, if I go, I shall merely bring this man back for a philosophical discussion," the third retorted, prompting snickers from the others. "You three fools, what use are you? Useless in every endeavor, yet champions at the dinner table. Remember, our trade is robbery and murder. We must honor our profession." The leader's reprimand was met with barely suppressed laughter from Lu Yun. "Big brother, I suggest we call it a day. Let us take this young lady's belongings and retreat. This doesn't betray our profession, and the poor child seems rather pitiable," proposed the fourth. The leader sighed in resignation. "Second brother, third brother, what say you?" The second, pretending to observe the heavens, declared, "Big brother, I believe today is not fit for bloodshed." The third, gazing at Lu Yun, added, "Big brother, I think we should take this lad back. I feel we could engage in a profound conversation." Dismayed by the lack of agreement, the leader relented. "Fine, we shall follow fourth brother's suggestion. However, do not lament today, as meager haul. We shall adhere to our principles of equitable reward. Fourth, go and seize that young lady's belongings." At long last, Lu Yun could no longer contain himself and let out a chuckle. "Who dares to laugh?" the leader bellowed. "Brother, this fellow is laughing. He is mocking us." Old Four pointed at Lu Yun. "What are you laughing at?" the leader of the bandits asked angrily. "I apologize. I just recalled something amusing that I couldn't help but laugh," Lu Yun replied, bursting into laughter once more. "Brother, he is clearly ridiculing us." "He hasn't stopped," Old Four exclaimed. "Enough. This scoundrel looks down upon us. He must be taught a lesson." The four of them dismounted viciously and began to beat Lu Yun. However, Old Three refrained from striking him, instead taking the opportunity to pilfer a few items. Old Four, with a ferocious demeanor, seized Asha's belongings. And then the four bandits mounted their horses and rode off. Lu Yun lay on the ground, bruised and disheveled, which left Asha utterly stunned. No matter how she contemplated the situation, she could not have anticipated such an outcome. "Joffrey, are you all right?" Lu Yun grumbled, as if he had a pigeon egg lodged in his mouth. "How many times must I tell you? I am not Joffrey. My name is Lu Yun." "All right, Joffrey," Asha replied. Lu Yun, uninterested in her words, climbed to his feet and staggered away. Asha, with her head bowed, followed him. Lu Yun turned abruptly, waving his hand to stop her. "Why are you still following me? We are even. We owe each other nothing. You go your way, and I'll go mine. Do not trail behind me any longer." Asha spoke in a barely audible voice, "But just now, I was not saved by you. It was those bandits who let us go." "What? What did you say?" Lu Yun leaned closer to her. Asha managed to squeeze out a sentence. "I was not saved by you. They spared me." Lu Yun was at a loss for words, and retorted, "Wasn't that sword at my throat? Wasn't I the one being beaten? So, you dragged me down with you, and when I survive, you are still dissatisfied. Is that it?" No, I did not mean that. Just as you said, we owe each other nothing, but I am scared alone. Whether you are scared or not is of no concern to me. I do not owe you anything. I am not your father." With that, Lu Yun walked away. This time, Asha truly did not follow. She squatted on the ground and began to cry. As Lu Yun walked farther away, he felt conflicted, wondering if he had been too harsh in his words, considering she was a girl. Ultimately, he decided to take her along. Asha was sobbing heartily when suddenly a dry stick poked her. She looked up to see Lu Yun. You returned? This is a desert. There may be quicksand anywhere. You hold the other end of this stick, and in case of danger, we can help each other," Lu Yun said casually. Asha wiped her tears, stood up, and took hold of the other end of the stick, replying softly, "Okay." Chapter 7. A tragic past in the desert under the night sky. Lu Yun and Asha walked carefully, one behind the other, holding onto a wooden stick. Asha broke the silence first. "Joffrey. Oh, I mean Lu Yun. Please do not blame me. You look too much like him." Lu Yun thought to himself, "Who is this girl? It should not be simple. Otherwise, how could you possibly know the king? Are you quite familiar with him?" "Humph. I truly regret having crossed paths with him. He killed my father, and I yearn to see him suffer 1,000 deaths. Ah, such deep-seated hatred. Why do I feel so insecure in your presence? You are not him. What do you fear? You mentioned that I resemble him, and if you were to lose your senses and mistake me for him, would it not be a grave injustice for me to perish? Rest assured, I am fully aware that you are not him, nor could you ever be. I am truly grateful for that. By the way, why did he wish to take your father's life?" Joffrey is the king. And your father must have held a prominent position as well, correct? One might say so. Lu Yun had heard Chancellor Pycelle mention that there was only one renowned individual previously slain, and that was the traitor, Ned Stark. She is called Asha. Could she possibly be Sansa Stark? A person of high standing. Could it be Lord Ned Stark? Do you know him? Lu Yun spread his hands. Who does not know of Lord Ned's illustrious reputation? Alas. Alas for what? Alas that he betrayed the king and could not escape death. Asha suddenly paused, exclaiming, no. He should not have died. He had confessed, and Joffrey had promised me that he would be released if he did. They are untrustworthy. Did they pay a price for their betrayal? Asha broke into tears at that moment, lamenting, because of their treachery, my brother Robb is dead, my mother is dead. 2 younger brothers were killed by Theon, and my sister Arya is still missing. Observing her sorrow, Lu Yun tore a piece of relatively clean cloth from his attire and offered it to her. So you are Sansa Stark? Asha accepted it and nodded. I believe they will ultimately face the consequences of their actions, Lu Yun reassured her. However, Sansa shook her head. No, I no longer think that way. All I desire now is to return home. Yet, she fell into despair. But I have no home to return to. Lu Yun continued, and Sansa nodded helplessly. I truly regret not having mustered the resolve to push him off that height that day. Yet, due to my cowardice and hesitation, I was stopped by his guard. The Hound. I am utterly useless. Sansa sat weakly on the ground. I could not do it. I have betrayed them. Lu Yun understood her pain deeply. Reflecting on his own past, Miss Sansa, what do you plan to do next? Sansa quietly sobbed. I can only go to Aunt Lisa at the Eyrie now. Lu Yun pondered carefully, if I recall correctly. Do you not have a half-brother? Sansa was taken aback. How do you know? Lu Yun waved his hand, you know. We common folk are most fond of hearing tales from your noble families, especially the more intimate ones. He is at the wall in the north. A place I cannot reach. Very well, I shall escort you to Eagle's Nest City, after which we shall part ways. Fortunately, Eagle's Nest City is not too distant from here. If you wish to express your gratitude, a sumptuous meal would suffice. Lu Yun patted his famished belly, which had gone days without sustenance. At the mention of food, Sansa felt a pang of hunger as well. Very well, I shall ensure you are well fed, she replied. Although Lu Yun spoke casually, his mind was already concocting new plans. His escape from the palace was intended to distance himself from that den of turmoil and to cultivate his own influence anew. The North was currently the most favorable destination. While the Bolton family may be the reigning lords of the North, their foundation was precarious. Despite the outward appearance of harmony, many houses that once pledged fealty to House Stark remained discontented. Moreover, the Bolton family's notorious tradition of flaying was far from an effective means of governance. Now, with Sansa Stark, the eldest daughter of House Stark, before him, he believed that if he could gain her trust and guidance, it would undoubtedly bolster his ambitions to lead the northern forces. Just as these thoughts occupied his mind, a chilling wail echoed from ahead, sending shivers down his spine. The night deepened into a more oppressive darkness, and sensing imminent danger, Lu Yun grasped Sansa's hand, urging her to retreat. However, a tempest of sand swept through, and the two vanished from sight. What delightful souls! In a hidden chamber beneath the desert, a grotesque creature, possessing a human torso adorned with countless eyes and a spider's lower body, gazed upon the two suspended in a web, marveling and salivating. Those two were none other than Lu Yun and Sansa. Both found themselves ensnared in a dreamlike state, experiencing each other's lives as if through a divine perspective. Sansa witnessed the trials Lu Yun had endured, while Lu Yun observed Sansa's past. Upon awakening from the desert dreamscape, tears streamed from Sansa's eyes as she realized the depth of Lu Yun's suffering. Were those experiences truly real? She inquired. After sharing their respective experiences, they discovered that what they had seen were indeed the authentic pasts of one another. This revelation forged a profound connection, and their feelings for each other blossomed rapidly. Within a few days, they stumbled upon a veritable paradise, where they married and bore children, enveloped in bliss. Yet one day, Lu Yun suddenly felt an unsettling sensation as darkness enveloped him. In that obscurity, he perceived the grotesque creature feeding upon his soul, and Sansa's as well. An instinctive sense of foreboding urged him to move forward. The hideous creature turned to him with a piercing gaze, its eerie laughter reminiscent of the haunting cries he had heard in the desert years prior. His intuition compelled him to believe that the true world lay beyond, and with fervor, he raced towards that reality. Suddenly, Lu Yun awoke in the underground palace, his eyes fluttering open to behold a multitude of eyes fixated upon him, belonging to a monstrous creature. Startled, he instinctively lunged towards its eyes. The creature recoiled in pain. It was only then that Lu Yun discerned the truth and exclaimed, What a colossal spider spirit. Suspended in midair, he hastily called out to Shansha, who was similarly inverted beside him. Before long, Shansha stirred awake. Upon opening her eyes, she fearfully clutched Lu Yun, exclaiming, "Lu Yun, how did we end up here?" He replied, "We've been captured by a spider spirit. We must escape while it is still absent." Spider spirit? Panic etched on her face. She asked, "What about our son?" Lu Yun reassured her, explaining that they had been trapped and had never married or had a child. Shansha gazed at him with a bewildered expression, questioning, "What do you mean, Lu Yun?" Without further elaboration, he gestured towards the ground beside them. "Look at that." Following his gaze, Shansha saw a withered wooden stick lying silently. "What do you want me to see in that stick?" she asked, frustrated and confused. "Think carefully," Lu Yun urged her. "Isn't that the stick I inadvertently used as firewood? How can it be here?" "Indeed, you burned it. How could it still be here?" Shansha chuckled, realizing it had not been consumed, but rather hidden away. Lu Yun, growing anxious, insisted, "Look at our attire. Can you not see?" Upon examining their clothing, Shansha finally grasped the implication. "Are you suggesting that everything prior was merely a dream?" Lu Yun nodded fervently. "No, that is impossible. How could a dream feel so real?" She struggled to accept. "I, too, find it hard to believe. Yet how do we explain our current predicament?" Lu Yun countered. "How dare you toy with me, Lu Yun?" Shansha accused him, her tone sharp. Lu Yun, feeling helpless, replied, "My dear aunt, you will soon understand." Moments later, the spider spirit, wounded by Lu Yun's earlier attack, emerged from the dark cavern, shrieking an eerie wail. "Humph! Do not attempt to deceive me with a false spider spirit. This is preposterous. No spider looks like this." Shansha scoffed, her disbelief evident as she mocked the creature. Lu Yun, however, could not afford to underestimate the spider spirit, his gaze fixed upon it with intensity. "Lu Yun, stop jesting. I must go and retrieve our son. Release me." Shansha struggled to break free, but to no avail. After emitting a series of unintelligible sounds, the spider spirit surprisingly spoke. "Kakik, have you both awakened? Was that dream of yours orchestrated by you?" Lu Yun's scalp prickled in dread, unable to fathom the power of this formidable entity. "Kakik, you comprehend now? In the realm of dreams, one is often unaware, but now it is all too clear. Was that dream delightful? What joy is there in illusion? Is it not less fulfilling than the world outside?" Lu Yun shook his head, asserting, "What happiness can be derived from illusion?" As the spider spirit turned its eyes towards Sansa, it inquired, "What about you?" At that moment, Sansa's heart raced with uncertainty. Unsure whether Lu Yun was merely toying with her, yet she nodded in response. "You see, she does not share your opinion," the spider spirit remarked, evidently pleased. "Release us at once, you grotesque creature," Lu Yun retorted, unwilling to engage further with the monster. "Release you? Ha ha ha. Do you truly believe that is possible? Are you aware of how delectable your souls are?" The spider spirit continued, extending several tongues to lick its lips. "I have consumed many souls, and few rival the exquisite flavor of this girl. However, in my lifetime, I have never encountered a soul as unique, as extraordinary as yours, so delightful that it sends tremors through my very essence. Do you truly believe I would let you and her go? Go on, continue to sleep. Indulge in sweet dreams, for I intend to savor you further." With that, the spider spirit advanced slowly, preparing to cast another spell. As the creature drew near, Lu Yun suddenly delivered a headbutt, causing it to stagger, its eyes swirling with stars. The spider spirit shook its head, unfazed, and remarked, "Ah, quite the strength you possess. Feeling a bit tipsy, are we?" With that, it revealed a more sinister side, thrusting its hand into Lu Yun's body, immobilizing him. "Rest assured, you are a rare delicacy. I would not allow you to perish so swiftly. The more you suffer, the more exquisite the flavor. While consuming you awake might affect the taste. I am eager to partake now, ha ha ha." All of the spider spirit's eyes began to emit a white light, voraciously devouring Lu Yun's soul. This horrifying scene left Sansa in a daze, rendered speechless and unsure of what to do, her mind blank. Suddenly, a shadow darted past the spider spirit, and before it could react, a sharp dagger plunged into its head. In agony, it flailed wildly, its long claws swinging erratically, retreating into the depths of its lair. With two swift strokes, the web binding Lu Yun and Sansa was severed by a single strike. Turning around, Lu Yun was astonished to see it was Jaqen Hagar. "You, Jaqen, what brings you here?" Lu Yun exclaimed, filled with unexpected joy. Jaqen maintained a gentle smile, stating, "Someone has come to repay a debt of life. Quickly rescue us," Lu Yun implored, grateful for Jaqen's timely arrival. At that moment, chilling wails echoed from the depths of the cave, drawing nearer. Hurry, slip into that small opening. Jaqen pointed to a nearby crevice just large enough for a person to squeeze through. Lu Yun urged Sansa to go first, then followed closely behind, with Jaqen taking up the rear. Once Lu Yun and Sansa emerged onto the desolate surface, Jaqen did not follow. After a lengthy pause, a hand, covered in milky fluid, extended from the cave. Lu Yun and Sansa hurriedly pulled it out, revealing it to indeed be Jaqen. Jaqen, did you slay the spider spirit? Lu Yun inquired anxiously. It is not something that can be slain by mere mortals. One can only hope to escape. We must depart from this place swiftly, for that fiend may pursue us at any moment. The three fled in a frenzy, only pausing once they had traversed the desolate expanse. Jaqen appeared utterly unfazed by the ordeal. I have repaid the lives owed to 2 individuals. Now, I take my leave, he declared. Lu Yun, having discerned Jaqen's extraordinary prowess, inquired urgently, where are you headed? Yet Jaqen was unable to disclose his destination. With that, he began to walk away. Where can I find you in the future? Lu Yun called after him. In the next instant, Jaqen emerged from behind a nearby tree, producing an iron coin. Take this. Lu Yun accepted the coin, puzzled. What purpose does this serve? Is it for purchasing a horse? If the day arises when you must seek me, go to Bravos. There, hand this coin to any Bravosi and utter the words, mushroom picking is exhausting. Mushroom picking is exhausting, Lu Yun repeated, feeling a peculiar sensation. What sort of secret code was this? Jaqen turned to depart. Jaqen, could you accompany us to Eagle's Nest City before leaving? Jaqen had already perished. Upon turning back, his countenance transformed entirely, casting a smile at Lu Yun. Farewell, Lu Yun. This change was so profound that even his voice had altered. Sansa observed this uncanny spectacle, a sense of dread washing over her. Yet for Lu Yun, it was an astonishing sight. He had witnessed the art of face changing in his homeland, but never had he seen it coupled with a shift in voice. If he could master such a skill, traversing this continent would be all the more convenient. Sansa, feeling a tinge of fear, pondered, who exactly is Lu Yun? He seems truly formidable. Lu Yun chuckled. What is there to fear about changing one's face? That spider demon is the real terror. At the mention of the spider demon, Sansa's cheeks flushed. That was merely a dream. Noticing her blushing, Lu Yun leaned in closer, prompting her to lower her head further. Why do you stare at me so? Oh, how wonderful it would be if that dream were true. Sansa's face grew even redder, and she pushed Lu Yun away, storming ahead in a huff. Chapter 9. Entering Eagle's Nest City for a meal after several days of arduous travel, Lu Yun and Sansa finally arrived at the outskirts of Eagle's Nest City. Upon beholding the city's formidable terrain, Lu Yun was filled with admiration. The steep cliffs rendered it easily defensible, a veritable natural fortress. Though King's Landing was grand, it could not compare to the defensive capabilities of this place. What a splendid location, Lu Yun exclaimed. Sansa regarded him with sudden gravity. No, you cannot enter with me. If you do, they will surely mistake you for Joffrey, and they harbor deep resentment towards him. Lu Yun waved his hand dismissively. You make a valid point. Then let us part ways here. Sansa merely gazed at him in silence. For reasons unbeknownst to her, when she saw Lu Yun turn away, her heart tightened. Unwilling to let him depart, uncertain of when they might meet again, she disregarded her ladylike demeanor and hastily stepped forward to block his path. What? Do you wish to give me a hug? Lu Yun teased. Ignoring his words, Sansa pulled him aside, performing a simple disguise on him, concealing his face. After much effort, she finally nodded in satisfaction. I believe this will render you unrecognizable, Sansa said, observing Lu Yun's completely transformed appearance with confidence. Lu Yun touched his face and remarked, Is this all you're doing? Do not touch it, lest it come off. From this moment forth, you shall be my personal bodyguard, responsible for my safety. Let us call you Nyo, she declared. Lu Yun chuckled, acknowledging the lengths Miss Sansa had gone to fulfill her promise. Very well, I shall take this perilous journey. Sansa could not muster a laugh, assuring him, Do not worry. With me around, nothing will happen to you. Remember to call yourself Nyo from now on. Very well, my master, he replied. Yet Sansa still felt something was amiss. What feels off? She asked, shaking her head, unable to discern the source of her unease. Lu Yun, exasperated, replied, You call me your bodyguard, yet a bodyguard cannot be without weapons. Sansa clapped her hands in realization. Indeed. But I am currently penniless and cannot buy you a sword. What shall we do? Simple. We will procure a sword in the city. It is quite normal to lose a sword after journeying such a distance together, and ensuring your safety is paramount, he reasoned. Sansa nodded happily in agreement. After relaying messages through the city guards, Aunt Laisha came out to meet her, tearfully recognizing her. Sansa pointed to Lu Yun behind her. "Aunt, I was able to safely travel from King's Landing thanks to his protection. Otherwise, I fear I may never have seen you again." Lysha scrutinized the masked figure before her, noting the absence of weapons, and suddenly asked with a serious expression, "How did you manage unarmed?" "Aunt, his sword broke during a fight," Sansa explained. Lysha chose not to pursue the matter further, instead stating, "You are indeed a brave warrior. I shall reward you with the finest long sword." Lu Yun bowed in gratitude. Upon entering the city, Lysha indeed sent someone to deliver a splendid long sword to Lu Yun. Sansa smiled and said, "Accept this, it is rightfully yours. Tonight, my aunt is hosting a banquet in my honor. You must accompany me. I will not renege on my promise. If you have any other requests, I shall do my utmost to fulfill them." Lu Yun's interest peaked at the mention of possibilities. "Anything?" he inquired. Sansa, feeling shy, turned her head slightly and nodded. Lu Yun slowly approached Sansa. "Then, may I have some money? I wish to take a bath and change my attire." Startled, Sansa turned abruptly, glaring at him with annoyance. "Is that all?" Lu Yun simply nodded. Sansa, with a strained smile, tossed a bag of coins at him before storming out in a huff. Lu Yun, feeling perplexed, pondered over the behavior of this young lady, wondering why she was so miserly. It was merely a request for a small sum, yet she reacted with such anger. After all, he had escorted her a considerable distance. Asking for a bit of escort fee seemed reasonable. As the evening banquet commenced, Sansa occupied the seat of honor. Though the dishes before her seemed lackluster, she only took a few token bites, frequently glancing around as if searching for someone. Shortly into the festivities, an unexpected guest arrived. Upon recognizing him, Lisa joyfully rushed forward, exclaiming, "Oh, my dear, you returned so swiftly. You didn't even notify me. I could have sent someone to greet you." Sansa quickly realized that the newcomer was Peter Baelish, the kingdom's treasurer. "Thank you, my dear lady. It appears we have important guests at home today," Peter acknowledged. While Lisa eagerly pointed him out to Sansa, Sansa promptly rose and curtsied, to which Peter reciprocated. Lisa ushered Peter to the head table and seated herself beside Sansa. "Lady Sansa, the royal court believed you to be missing. What a fortuitous encounter," Peter remarked politely. Sansa, with a directness that surprised even herself, responded, "You are not here to take me back, are you?" No, madam, you misunderstand. I oversee the kingdom's finances, not abductions. Besides, it was your husband, Tyrion, who dealt with Tywin, not you. By then, you had already departed King's Landing. You are not implicated in that matter," he explained. "You know what I mean," she retorted. Peter paused, savoring an oyster that Lisa had offered. "Miss Sansa, you are indeed astute. In light of this, let me be candid. I have wed Lisa. Do you truly believe I would betray my family for a precarious royal house? I do not consider you my family. And are you not known for your betrayals?" Sansa shot back. Peter, unfazed, chuckled. "Miss Sansa, have you not listened to the royal decree? I too must be loyal to the king. I could not simply stand by and watch your father, Lord Eddard, betray the crown. At that time, I had no choice but to intervene. I could not allow your father to descend deeper into treachery. That is nonsense. My father did not betray the king." Sansa's voice trembled with anger. Peter's demeanor darkened slightly. Noticing his displeasure, Lisa's expression hardened as she glared at Sansa. Feeling the chill of her aunt's gaze, Sansa's heart sank. Instead of defending her, Lisa seemed intent on placating Peter. Terrified, Sansa yearned to escape the oppressive atmosphere. Seizing a moment of distraction, she hastily left the table. As she wandered through the dimly lit streets, her heart heavy with despair, she realized that even her own aunt offered her no true refuge. This was not her home. As she walked on, tears streamed down her cheeks uncontrollably. "Behold, this young lady possesses striking beauty." 3 inebriated men approached Sansa, who, feeling intimidated, chose to ignore them and continued walking. However, unfamiliar with the area, she unwittingly wandered into a dead end. The trio of drunken men, exhilarated, ceased their banter and lunged at her, intent on tearing her garments and overpowering her. In a state of panic, Sansa cried out for help. Yet not a soul came to her aid, which only emboldened her assailants. At that moment, a familiar voice pierced through the tension. "Hey, let go of that girl. Lu Yun, save me," Sansa exclaimed urgently. The 3 drunken men, casting a mere glance at Lu Yun, seemed to disregard his presence and continued their assault on Sansa. In desperation, Lu Yun unsheathed his sword and, without further ado, dispatched them with lethal precision. Their cries faded into silence as they collapsed lifelessly to the ground. Sansa, her attire in disarray, rushed into Lu Yun's embrace, weeping uncontrollably. "Weren't you attending a banquet? How did you end up here alone?" Lu Yun gently inquired while patting her back in comfort. Sansa, upon hearing his words, wept even more fiercely. Lu Yun, sensing her distress, offered soothing words. It's all right. It's all right. After a prolonged bout of tears, Sansa wiped her eyes and declared, Lu Yun, let us leave this place. Leave? At this hour? Sansa nodded. In this pitch darkness, where can we possibly go? I haven't eaten a morsel yet. I wish to remain not a moment longer. I would rather starve outside than stay here. Sansa exclaimed, her voice laced with desperation. What has transpired? You were perfectly fine during the day, and now this? Lu Yun remarked, though he added, as your protector, should you wish to depart, I have no grounds to object. Observing his resigned demeanor, Sansa broke into a smile through her tears. Very well, I shall first bid farewell to Aunt Lisa. By the way, how did you come to be here? Lu Yun shook his head. You wouldn't believe it. The conditions here are abysmal. Even a bath requires an additional fee. The money you entrusted to me was insufficient, and after being swindled, I labored through 3 large barrels of laundry before they finally released me. Just as I emerged, I found you beset by trouble. I wondered why you had not appeared. Why didn't you have someone inform me? Sansa probed. I told them, but they simply did not believe or heed me. Lu Yun replied, feeling somewhat awkward. At that moment, a group of guards approached. Miss Sansa, the lord of the castle is seeking you. It is unsafe outside. Please return with us. Sansa and Lu Yun followed the guards to the council hall. Lu Yun sensed something amiss. Taking her back instead of to the courtyard seemed peculiar. Inside the hall, Lisa sat upon an ornate throne, carved from fishwood, and upon seeing Sansa, she unleashed a torrent of harsh words, berating her. The contrast to their earlier encounter was stark. Sansa stood bewildered, utterly confused by the sudden shift in demeanor. You filthy little wretch. Do not presume I have not noticed the glances exchanged between you and Peter at the banquet. He is mine, my husband. Lisa screamed, nearly driven to madness. Aunt Lisa. I was wondering why you chose to arrive today of all days. It seems you had ulterior motives. Aunt Lisa, you misunderstand me. I merely inquired about his betrayal of my father. You must believe me. Lisa scoffed. Oh, to believe you, perhaps, but you must provide evidence first. How am I to prove it? Quite simply, leap from that moon gate, and I shall believe you. Lisa pointed to a narrow wooden door in the center of the hall. Are you truly intent on killing me? Sansa questioned, incredulous. Hurry, do not compel me to act. Lisa snarled through clenched teeth. Aunt, you have truly lost your mind. Anu, let us depart. Sansa disregarded her, turning to leave. Attempt to leave? Do you think you can escape? Guards, push them both through the moon gate. Lisa bellowed. 2 armored knights burst in, seizing the pair and dragging them toward the gate. Their strength was overwhelming, rendering escape impossible. Halt! A commanding voice rang out as Peter Baelish rushed in. My dear, what on earth are you doing? Oh, my love. I am merely eliminating all obstacles between us, her. This filthy little wretch is the impediment. Lisa's demeanor softened momentarily. Peter positioned himself protectively in front of Sansa. Our love is genuine. How could she possibly stand in our way? Release her at once. My dear Peter, are you pitying her? Simply because she is younger and appears so fragile? Lisa retorted, her expression one of wounded innocence. Impossible. My heart belongs solely to you, my dear. Please, release her. Peter implored. Observing the scene, Lu Yun shook his head, surprised that his treasurer was entangled with a woman who loved him to the brink of madness. Uncertain whether to feel envy or sorrow. Anu, we must leave. Sansa urged, grasping Lu Yun's hand. He merely acknowledged her with a grunt. Peter did not obstruct them, but cast a concerned glance at Lu Yun. Lisa would not allow Sansa to depart, and the knights prevented them from exiting the hall. At this moment, Lisa approached Peter, whispering a menacing threat. Today, she must die. Otherwise, you know I will reveal all those secrets. Do you truly believe you can remain with Sansa then? Peter's expression shifted dramatically, but he nodded in calm resignation. Lisa, sensing his submission, smirked triumphantly and gestured for the guards to step aside. My dear, I wish to see you personally cast her down. Lisa was filled with exhilaration. Peter turned, casting a glance at Sansa, his expression hardening. Suddenly, he spun around and forcefully pushed Lisa through the moon gate. Sansa gasped in shock, exclaiming, Aunt. As she rushed forward, Peter grasped Sansa firmly. She struggled. Did you kill my aunt? Peter shook her hands. Wake up. I did not kill her. It is you who will die. I am doing this to save you. Sansa, skeptical, replied, Why would you choose to save me? She's gone mad, as you just witnessed. If I do not kill you, we will both be pushed off this place by him. Shaking her head, Sansa retorted, I do not believe you. She loved you so much. Would she truly kill you? Peter, remaining remarkably calm, responded, Hate often arises from love. Have you not heard? Besides, she has indeed lost her sanity. Sansa, utterly incredulous, could hardly fathom trusting his deceitful words. She forcefully shook him off and approached Lu Yun, stating simply, "We are leaving." "Wait," Peter called out. "What is it? Are you planning to silence us?" Sansa questioned. Peter remained silent and instead walked slowly towards Lu Yun, fixing his gaze upon him. "Have we met before? He is my hired guard. How could you possibly know him?" Sansa defended Lu Yun. "Oh, a guard? What is your name?" "His name is Anyo." Sansa continued to speak on his behalf. "Anyo? I doubt it." A hint of panic crept into Sansa. Surely he had not recognized Lu Yun. Peter reached out, intending to pull off Lu Yun's mask. At this moment, Sansa's heart raced. Yet, Lu Yun remained unfazed. Realizing there was no hiding from this, he laughed heartily and slowly removed his mask. "Lord Peter, you are indeed remarkable." Upon seeing his face, Peter quickly knelt. "Peter pays his respects to your majesty. I was unaware earlier and have committed many offenses. I hope your majesty can forgive me." Sansa stifled a laugh at the sight. This astute Peter Baelish had failed to discern that Lu Yun was not Joffrey. "Joffrey, oh no. Your majesty Lu Yun, the Queen Mother has been searching for you. I never expected to find you here. What a pleasant surprise." Peter exclaimed with a beaming face. Sansa, stunned, almost thought she misheard. "What did you just say?" "Your majesty Lu Yun." Peter explained. "Miss Sansa, you may not be aware, but since the day of the wedding banquet when King Joffrey drank the poisoned wine and recovered, he has taken on the name Lu Yun." Sansa felt as if struck by lightning. Seething, "You deceived me so cruelly, Joffrey." With that, she drew the long sword from Lu Yun's waist and pointed it at him. "I should have realized. How could there be someone so similar? I was foolish to believe your lies. Today, you shall pay for my father, mother, brother, and younger siblings." Peter reacted swiftly, maneuvering behind Sansa, drawing a dagger and pressing it against her throat, whispering, "Miss Sansa, do not be rash. He is your majesty. If you strike, you will perish by my hand. As far as I know, your sister is still alive, and Jon Snow is well at the wall. Think carefully. If you act, they will all die, and you will be the true murderer." As Sansa reflected on the myriad of sufferings she had endured, she could only attribute them to her own folly. Regardless, today she was resolute in her intention to slay the loathsome Joffrey, whether he was called that or Lu Yun. Instead of evading her, Lu Yun boldly grasped the tip of the sword and pressed it against his own heart. "Lady Sansa, I am aware of your deep-seated hatred for my former self. If my death is the key to liberating you from your torment, then do proceed." "Your majesty." "No." Peter exclaimed in a panic, caught in a moral quandary, his grip on the dagger fluctuating between tight and loose. "I shall kill you. I shall kill you." If it were Arya or Jon Snow, they would certainly act likewise. Sansa's eyes widened as she gasped for breath. "What are you waiting for? Do it." With that, Lu Yun smiled, a sense of relief washing over him. Ultimately, Sansa could not bring herself to strike. After a primal scream, she released her grip, the sword clattering to the ground as she sank to her knees. Peter exhaled deeply, drenched in cold sweat, hastily raising Lu Yun's bloodied right hand and calling for assistance. Sansa was promptly imprisoned in the dungeon. Peter's foremost concern was Lu Yun's injured hand. If the Queen Mother were to demand accountability, he would be unable to absolve himself of the blame. Thus, he remained close to Lu Yun, ensuring he received proper care, fearful of any further complications. Lu Yun, however, dismissed the severity of his wound. "Lord Peter, you are a minister of the realm, not a mere servant or scholar. Such a minor injury is of no consequence." Peter, utterly terrified, implored, "Your Majesty, this is all due to my failure to protect you. I cannot escape culpability." Seeing Peter in such distress, Lu Yun chuckled, "Lord Peter, you are not one to tremble so easily. Lady Lisa, you pushed her from the platform without a moment's hesitation. That is enough. She is your wife, and I shall not meddle in your private affairs. I simply did not foresee that you would indeed sacrifice your wife for Sansa. Regardless, I am uninterested in your thoughts on the matter. Where is Sansa now?" "Your Majesty, she is beyond redemption and currently detained in the dungeon. She has not harmed me. Bring her to me. Go quickly, or I cannot guarantee your safety." Peter, ever astute, hurriedly made his way to the dungeon to fetch Sansa. Soon, Sansa was brought forth, her body bound in shackles. Upon seeing her in such a state, Lu Yun felt an inexplicable pang of sorrow and proceeded to unfasten her chains. "Your Majesty?" Lu Yun remained silent. Peter, with no other option, commanded that Sansa's shackles be removed. "Sansa, I had hoped to take you with me, but I understand that is impossible now. I merely wish to convey that, while I am Lu Yun, I shall not evade the misdeeds of Joffrey. I shall bear the weight of them all. If you still wish to kill me, I shall allow it, and I will not go back on my word." "Your Majesty." Peter's anxiety reached a fever pitch. Lu Yun glanced at Patel and remarked, "If you do not wish to end my life now, I shall take my leave. In the future, Lord Patel will take care of you. Of course, if you desire, you may accompany me. I shall wait for you outside the city for half a day. If you do not arrive, I shall depart alone." With that, Lu Yun strode towards the exit. Patel hurriedly followed, asking, "Your Majesty, where are you headed?" "I should escort you back to King's Landing. I do not wish to return just yet. I yearn to venture forth alone. Pretend you have not seen me here. Your Majesty, stay your course, Lord Patel, and do not send anyone to follow me." Patel could only acquiesce, "Yes, Your Majesty." Once Lu Yun had distanced himself, Patel felt his body weaken, nearly collapsing to the ground as he sighed. That was close. Yet, the change in His Majesty is truly remarkable. Regaining his composure, Patel was about to head back when he spotted Sansa charging out with a dagger in hand. He swiftly intercepted her, asking, "Where do you think you are going? It's none of your business. Are you truly intent on killing His Majesty?" "I must kill him." Patel let out a scoff. "What are you laughing at?" "I laugh at your self-deception, though you cannot deceive me." Sansa furrowed her brow, regarding Patel with disdain as if he were a fool. Patel stood his ground. "You cannot kill him. He stated I could end his life whenever I pleased." "Huh. I do not refer to him. I speak of you. You lack the resolve." "Bah. He is nothing but scum. I have no hesitation." "Then why did you refrain last night?" I hesitated momentarily." Patel slowly extracted the dagger from her grip, saying, "Give it up. This is beyond your capabilities. You may alter your approach." "Alter my approach? Is he your only enemy? What of Cersei, Lisa Arryn, and Walder Frey? Are they not your foes as well? They all deserve death." Sansa seethed. "I can teach you how to achieve your vengeance," Patel replied with a smirk. "How can I possibly kill them? Do not forget. You are of House Stark. Remember your lineage." Sansa appeared puzzled. "Do you believe the current rulers of the North, the Boltons, can govern the entire North? As far as I know, their family lacks that capacity. The influence of House Stark still endures and is far greater than you imagine." Upon hearing Petel's words, Sansa finally understood. "You wish for me to return to the North? Rally those who still pledge allegiance to the Starks and lead the North? Oh, my dear Miss Sansa, you are indeed clever." Sansa seized the dagger back, pointing it at Patel. "Do not forget, you are also among my enemies." Patel shook his head with a smile. "I do not believe the astute Miss Sansa would act thus towards her savior."